A few years ago, my family and I went on a vacation to a beach resort in Mexico. We were all excited to relax, soak up some sun, and enjoy some quality family time. One day, we decided to go snorkeling in the ocean. We rented some equipment and headed out into the water, eager to explore the underwater world. At first, everything was going great. We saw all kinds of colorful fish and coral, and we were having a great time pointing out different creatures to each other. But then, disaster struck. My dad accidentally swallowed a mouthful of seawater, and it went down the wrong way. He started coughing and sputtering, unable to catch his breath. My mom and I were both alarmed and unsure of what to do. We knew that we needed to get him back to shore, but we were also worried about him inhaling more water or injuring himself further. In the end, we managed to get my dad safely back to the beach, where he was able to cough up the rest of the water and catch his breath. But it was a scary and embarrassing moment, especially because a group of other snorkelers had been watching the whole thing from a nearby boat. Despite the mishap, we still look back on that vacation with fond memories. It was a reminder to always be cautious and aware of our surroundings, even when we're on vacation and having fun. And it definitely provided us with a memorable and funny story to tell for years to come. This one is about a funny mix-up that happened at a coffee shop. One day, I went to my favorite coffee shop to grab a latte before work. I ordered my usual, a medium latte with almond milk, and waited while the barista prepared my drink. When my order was ready, the barista called out my name and handed me my cup. I thanked her and headed out the door, eager to start my day with a delicious caffeine boost. But as I took my first sip of the latte, I realized that something was wrong. The drink tasted sweet and frothy, but it definitely wasn't a latte with almond milk. In fact, it tasted more like a vanilla latte. I was confused and a little bit annoyed. I had specifically ordered a latte with almond milk, and I didn't want to waste money on a drink that I didn't actually want. So, I headed back into the coffee shop to ask for a refund or a new drink. But as I approached the counter, I overheard another customer complaining about her own order. I ordered a vanilla latte, but this tastes like almond milk, she was saying. Suddenly, it dawned on me the barista had mixed up our orders. She must have given me the other customer's drink, and vice versa. I couldn't help but laugh at the mix-up. It was a funny and unexpected twist to my morning routine, and it reminded me to always double-check my orders before leaving the coffee shop. In the end, the barista apologized for the mistake and offered to make us both new drinks. And as I sipped on my correct order, a latte with almond milk, I couldn't help but smile at the silly situation that had just unfolded. In 1996, climbers Rob Hall and Scott Fisher led rival expeditions to Mount Everest, the world's highest peak. The two men were both experienced and respected guides, and they each had a team of climbers hoping to summit the mountain. The expedition quickly became fraught with challenges. Unpredictable weather conditions and an unusually large number of climbers on the mountain made for dangerous and difficult conditions. On May 10th, a massive storm hit the mountain, catching many climbers off guard and leaving them stranded in the death zone, the area above 26,000 feet where the air is so thin that humans can barely survive. Rob Hall's team was among those caught in the storm. He and his climbers were huddled together in their tents, trying to wait out the blizzard, when tragedy struck. One of Hall's climbers, Doug Hansen, had collapsed and was unable to move. Despite Hall's best efforts to rescue him, Hansen was too weak to continue, and he ultimately perished on the mountain. Meanwhile, Scott Fisher's team was facing similar challenges. Fisher himself had become disoriented and was unable to continue, and several of his climbers were struggling with altitude sickness and frostbite. In the end, 8 climbers died on the mountain that day, making it the deadliest disaster in Everest's history up to that point. The story of the 1996 Everest disaster has been recounted in numerous books and films, including Jon Krakauer's best-selling book Into Thin Air. It's a harrowing and heartbreaking tale of human resilience, perseverance, and tragedy in the face of extreme conditions. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Lily. Lily had a difficult childhood. Her parents were often absent and neglectful, and she had no siblings or close family members to turn to for support. Despite her difficult home life, Lily was a bright and curious child. She loved to read and explore the world around her, and she dreamed of one day traveling to far-off lands and experiencing new cultures. As Lily grew older, she began to feel increasingly isolated and alone. She struggled to make friends at school and often felt like an outsider among her peers. Eventually, Lily's loneliness and despair became too much to bear. One day, she took her own life, leaving behind a devastated community of friends, teachers, and loved ones who mourned her loss. Lily's story is a tragic reminder of the importance of mental health and the devastating impact that loneliness and isolation can have on a person's life. It's a reminder that we all need to look out for one another, to be kind and compassionate, and to reach out for help when we need it most. In the early 1900s, a young woman named Margaret lived in a small town on the outskirts of a bustling city. Margaret was a talented artist and dreamed of one day pursuing a career in the arts, but her strict and traditional parents were determined to marry her off to a wealthy suitor and start a family. Despite her parents' wishes, Margaret refused to give up on her dreams. She worked tirelessly on her art, attending local exhibitions and honing her skills whenever she could. One day, Margaret met a young man named John at an art exhibit. John was also a talented artist, and the two quickly fell in love. Despite their family's objections, Margaret and John got married and began their lives together, determined to build a future based on their shared passions and creativity. But life was not easy for the young couple. They struggled to make ends meet, living in a tiny apartment and working multiple jobs to support themselves. Margaret continued to work on her art, but found it increasingly difficult to find the time and energy to pursue her dreams. As the years went by, Margaret's health began to decline. She suffered from chronic pain and fatigue, and struggled to keep up with the demands of everyday life. John did his best to support her, but the stress and strain of their difficult circumstances began to take a toll on their relationship. In the end, Margaret's health deteriorated to the point where she was no longer able to work or create. She spent her days lying in bed, her once vibrant spirit slowly fading away. John was heartbroken by the loss of his wife's vitality and creativity. He continued to love and care for her until the very end, but was never able to recapture the magic and joy of their early years together. Margaret's story is a tragic reminder of the sacrifices that artists and creative people often make in pursuit of their dreams. It's a reminder that passion and talent are not enough to guarantee success, and that the road to artistic fulfillment is often fraught with hardship and heartbreak. Follow us for more thrilling stories, and don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the journey with the neon loop. Share your favorite part of the ride in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next adventure.